Yo, thank you so much for coming on the show and having this conversation with Van. You know, your story's amazing. You have so much to offer the world. You've been through a lot. You know, your test is now your testimony. You have purpose. Conversation with Van. You have hope. You have dream. You have aspiration. And somebody depends on you, so you can't give up. So, conversation with Van. Again, thank you for taking the time to have this conversation with Van. Let's have a conversation with Van. Sit down and talk to me. Sit back and talk to me. Let's have a conversation with Ben. Sit down and talk to me. Sit back and talk to me. Yeah. Conversation with Ben. What's up, everybody? I am Van Swan, and you are watching Conversation with Van. On today's episode, I get to talk to somebody who was a singer. He's a songwriter. He's a worship leader. He is so many dope and wonderful things that I had to have a conversation with him. He has some really dope projects out. Some projects like Oil of Worship. We can't forget Plugged In. And his most recent single, You Covered Me, which is a dope record. So we're going to talk about his musical journey. We're going to talk about his career. We're going to talk about the fact that he is a twin. Yeah, man, that's super dope. So I want to get a little insight on how that is. You know what I mean? So if you can do me a favor, put your hands together and give it up for my boy, Javis Mays. What's going on, man?
Wow, man! That was an introduction.
Oh man, it's real.
Man,
nice.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. It's always an honor when someone is nice to you. I always tell people when someone is nice to you to say thank you. So thank you for having me. Grateful for being here.
Absolutely. Man, I'm super a fan of your work. You have some really dope records. You Covered Me is one of my favorite. Freedom is one of my favorite. Fire. The list goes on and on and on, man. You've done some
really man. You just went back.
Work. Man, I'm serious. You got some dope work, man. I'm definitely excited to be able to have this conversation with you, man. But take me back to some people who may not, they probably hiding under a rock and may not know who you are for some apparent reason. You know, just take me back to who you are and where you come from. Where are you from? That's the first question.
You know, we're from Avon Park, Florida. It's a small town here in Florida. I'm about maybe an hour south of Orlando. Grew up in a home with our mom and dad. Went to FAMU for college. You see Rattler's hat, you know. And my wife and I, we moved to Orlando and raised our family. Been here now for almost 17 years. And man, the journey just goes on and on. It's a lot that has happened in those 17 years of being here in Orlando. Ministry, family, kids going to college, divorce, records, and, you know, just a lot of things. Our mom passing, you know, so it's been a very big journey, but I wouldn't trade it. You know, I wouldn't trade it. I'm grateful for it's a process, it's a journey, you know, and so I feel like I'm only about 1/4 of my journey in life. So, you know, so I'm still in process.
You definitely don't seem like you're old enough to have anybody going to college. First and foremost, any kids or something going to college. So you had a baby at like 2.
Well, man, you know, I'm getting ready to be 40. So, you know, I have 2 sons that are in college, 18 and 19. They're both in their first years of college. And so I'm grateful. Then I have a daughter that's 13. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's super dope. But take me back to young Javis. What were you like as a kid? What were some of your interests? What was you doing?
I was bad as a kid. You know, I have an identical twin brother, Javis, you know, and we ran the streets. We fought. We cussed people out. You know, we were always in something mischievous. Just we got plenty of whippings because we were bad, but we were raised in church, so we had a foundation. My mom, she taught us the ways of the Lord. My dad taught us the ways of the street, and so we had that mixture, that balance. Um, we sang in the gospel choir and we played football. So we just had that mixture. Um, of life. We had our family is one of the biggest families in Avon Park, so we were always surrounded by a big family. My mom had 9, 10 siblings, all of them still living, all of them still in Avon Park. My dad had a big family, and then my dad has it's 11 of us. So we've always had a really big family. Always was very secure within who we were because we always had validation from just having such a big family that loved and supported us. But we could always sing, and my grandmother was a piano player. She taught us piano. That's how I started playing. And then by 16, I was playing keys for my church. I was a church musician. And then I became the worship leader, and they put me on salary for $100 a month.
Come on, $100 a month.
Okay. Every first of the month, I was waiting on my check, bro.
Listen, $100 a month. That's 16.
I mean,
that was something good.
And that was 4 services a week. Okay, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Tuesday night, Thursday night, and I was faithful and committed because really I just loved doing it, and that's where I built my love for music and my love for God. And that's how I actually started my journey as an artist. That's where it started.
You ever considered doing R&B? Or was gospel always your first love and passion?
Gospel was always my first love and passion, but I did consider doing R&B. But I was very intimidated by doing R&B. I just felt like I was too churchy to do it. But I've sung some of their songs, for weddings and different things. I was like, man, I could have done this, But Javis decided to do R&B. So he's doing R&B and I'm doing gospel. Yeah. So, but it works, at that time and then, because of the way we were raised, I didn't feel the liberty to mix the two. We've evolved now as adults. We think for ourselves, we're not as religious as we were, but, coming up old school like that, we were very religious. It was like you follow the rules or you no longer play for the church, And so as you get older, you start to get your independence and your own mindset. And it's like, you don't like me, you don't accept me. Oh, okay. So, so start to do what you want to do. But that's where I was. In my life during that time. I was very uncomfortable straddling the fence. And I wouldn't even say really straddling the fence, just trying different things, and building your whole persona as the way you would want to, rather than allow someone to box you in. Because that's what I did. And I feel like even today, I probably would be further along had I trusted within myself a little bit more than what everybody else was saying around me.
So tell me about that experience being a twin, and what was it like growing up having a twin, and what is it like in adulthood having a twin? Because you guys work together as well.
He is my best friend, like literally. I think we talk 10 times a day, every day. Like if I have not spoken to him by 5 or 6 o'clock, he's gonna call me and be like, "Bro, I didn't sleep with you last night. Like, what's the problem?" You know what I'm saying? So we grew up as best friends. We did everything together. We fought each other. We fought everybody together. Like we could be in the house fighting down. Just tearing it up, and then go outside and fight somebody together. Like it was just, but we did everything together. We would get on our bicycles and we would ride across the whole city and just looking for trouble, looking for. We were crazy for real.
Who's the oldest?
Jarvis is 23 minutes. My mom did not know that she was having twins. So
Oh,
after she had him, they were taking her to recovery, and then I started coming. Yeah,
that's
right,
crazy.
right. I was the double blessing.
Wow. 23 minutes later, didn't even know that you was coming. That's
But I was
amazing,
coming.
yo.
I was coming. Yeah, and like we did everything together. We went to church together. We drove together. We were two peas in the pod. We would date sisters or cousins. We went to school together, went to college together, and then he got married and had kids. I got married and had kids. They went to Atlanta, and I stayed here, and I came back to Orlando. So, but besides that, like we we're gonna meet up at least once a month somewhere in the nation and just hang out, me and him. Now we do things with our siblings as well because all of us on group chat, so we like talk every day and every couple of days, whatever. We're gonna definitely check in. But Jarvis and I, and then Brandon, my mom had three boys, so the three of us, we probably talk every day because we're the closest, being that we were raised in the same house together. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. Now I know that you all have your reality show that is
The
super
Amazing
dope. The Amazing
Twins.
Twins. Let's
And
talk about that. Tell me about that experience.
you know, um, Jarvis and I had started out as the Amazing Twins, and it was supposed to be a music group where we were doing music together, gospel music. And then in the middle of recording like four songs, we had just completed four songs. He decided that he didn't want to do gospel anymore, but that he wanted to do R&B. So it's like he took this hard left turn really fast. And it caused such a break because even during that time, 5 years ago, I was totally against doing secular music, you know. And we fell out really bad about that because like it hurt me so bad that like we just pretty much almost finished this record and you don't want to do it anymore and you want to go and do R&B. We don't do R&B music. That's not the way. And he was like, this is my journey. I want to do my own journey. Why can't you respect my journey? And we had it was like a rift. Like we would still talk every day, but it was definitely different. And I had to actually have a moment where I just really realized like, dude, you got to come out of that. Like, you got to give people the freedom to live their own life and to make their own choices. Like, because you're doing to him what others did to you. And you hated it when they did that to you. But now you're doing the same thing. And it's like if you're not careful, you start to practice what you hate, you know? And so that's exactly what I did. And so I had to apologize to him because he's amazingly gifted and he's making great music, but I wasn't really participating in his process like he participated in mine, and that wasn't fair, and so now we're both doing our own thing. I'm doing gospel still, he's doing R&B, but he's amazing.
Take me back to Plugged In. Where were you what were you mentally, what were you thinking about during that time in that season in your life?
I was struggling really bad. I was struggling I was struggling in marriage. I was struggling in being a young father. I was struggling with my career. I had a master's degree in education, and I wasn't teaching anymore, but I was working in a nonprofit and mentoring, and I was just in a very unhappy place in life. But music gave me solace. Like music gave me peace, and so I would just be riding down the road, and then the song would just come to me. Lord, I tried to make it on my own, but I fell short so many times. Then I realized I can't make it without you. Like just, simple. Then one day I was outside walking the dog. Daisy, she's around here somewhere. And we were out in the yard and I just started, glory of the Lord is rising in this place. Can't you feel his presence, his power and his grace? Open up the heavens as we call upon your name. Lord, release our destiny and we'll never be the same. I was hungry. I was hungry for direction, but I was just hungry for like just some happiness. And you know what? I think that I had a moment where I realized that I I had already been doing music, but I realized on that third album, I really want to do this. You know, like I really want to do this. I want to do it live. I want to do it big, and I'm gonna work hard and be successful at it. You know, and so that album I think was almost like the break of me getting into the industry and really like people started to say Javis Mays and like me getting on planes or going out of town and sitting in a restaurant and people coming to say, you're Javis Mays, you're Javis Mays. And it was like, yo, this is kind of dope though, you know, like this is cool. You know,
Yeah.
but or to have someone walk up to you and say, yo, we danced on your song at our church, or my praise and worship team sang your song. I was on a Zoom last week, and this lady Dodie, I had no clue who she was, and she was like, she was like, "Yo, I taught my praise team every one of your songs for Plugged In." I was like, "What?" Like that, because that album is like 6 years old now. You know, and it's still relevant. Like I still have people hit me up almost every other day saying, yo, plugged in, plugged in, plugged in. And you know what? I realized that now I realize that that album was before its time. This new album that I'm working on now, it's been a very trying time. We lost our mom 3 years ago.
Sorry to
Um,
hear that.
Thank you. And I really felt like I was not going to make it.
Mm.
Like, because we talked to her every day. Like, every day we talked to her, and we were on a group chat, and we talked every day. And so when we lost her, it was just, bro, it was absolutely like life changing. Like, you know, my brother sent the picture of her the other day when he was graduating, and I was in the kitchen cooking, getting ready to make a strawberry cheesecake because you know I bake too. I had a business called He Bakes, and
Okay, okay.
I used to like bake a whole lot. I just don't have the time to do it anymore. But I used to sell out every week, dude. It was crazy. Like,
Wow. You were
yeah,
selling
so
cheesecakes, or was it other things as well?
cheesecakes, sweet potato pie, red
Come
velvet, like
on.
everything from scratch, bro. Like I'm telling you, like I had business cards. I used to every type of big event in Orlando in the area. I
You
would
was in.
always have a table and it would just sell out. Like it was crazy. Yeah.
That's
And
dope.
yeah, man. And my brother sent a picture to me, yo, and I'm sitting there like stirring, mixing cheese, cream cheese and ricotta cheese. And I'm like, I can't do this right now. I can't do this. Like, you know, it's like, dude, but she is like, even today, she is still a very influential part of our lives. Like, um, she's made it very clear to us that she taught us everything we needed to know to be successful in life. And so pretty much stop crying and put your big boy shorts on and let's go. You know, so we've been able to move forward even while we're still processing it. You know, we haven't given up or anything. But yeah, it's been a tough time. That's how I ended up writing You Covered Me.
I'm still here, and I'm standing still. Lord, you cover me. Storms may rise, and the wind may blow. The rain may fall, but you cover me. When I lost my mother, and then I lost my family. When I lost my ministry, Lord, you cover me.
Um,
I was going to
I
ask you
was,
about that. I was going to ask you about the record because
yeah,
it's a dope record. You just released it in 2020.
yeah. I was one night I was at the house and I cried all night. Like I just, and then I fell asleep and I had a dream of my mom taking my two brothers. She put us in the car. She took us for a ride. It was the first car that she had with us, and it was the first house we lived in. And she drove us around the house, and she said, "Babies, I'm getting ready to go away, and I'm not coming back." And we started screaming in the car. And she said, and she disappeared. And then we were just screaming. We had our seatbelts on. We were in the back seat, and the car was sitting still, and she disappeared. And she came back into the car, and she said, "There's no crying in heaven. I've taught you everything that you needed. Stop crying and live." And she disappeared. That morning, I got up and I went to the gym, and I was on the treadmill, and I wrote, "You covered me" on the treadmill while I was just walking. And
Wow.
I said,
That gave me chills, man. Like that story. Wow.
yeah, I knew that it was a very God moment, because I think the Lord just knew how much I was struggling. Like, I mean, during that time, I went through separation from my wife and everything, because, I know people say that some people frown upon counseling and things like that. But I needed to talk to someone. I needed to go through counseling. I needed to be in a place where I could be transparent and say, you know what, I'm hurting right now, and I don't feel like God loved me, because there is no way that you could love me and you could allow me to feel this kind of pain. And so I struggled at that moment. I told God, I don't want to sing anymore. I don't want to do worship anymore. I don't want to preach anymore. I don't want to do none of this, because if preaching and living for you means this, you can keep that. I'm done with this. And that was a real moment that I was having internally that I hadn't shared with anybody. But what do you do when you are actually like exploding on the inside? You start being the enemy to everybody that loves you. And so that's what I had become. I had become this mean, angry person. And my wife was like, "Bro, you gotta go." She's like, we had been together for almost 18 years. And she was like, and she was trying to be there, but I was just in a place was like, and it was almost like, if losing someone that you love this much is going to make you feel this much pain, I don't want to love nobody like that again, and so now we're best friends. My ex-wife and I, we're best friends. We're still raising our kids together, and we support each other like 100. But I needed that space, and she did too. And so we find no fault with God. We find no fault with each other. It's just one of those things that had to happen.
There's something that you made mention of that stands out to me, because I too am a mentor. I work for a nonprofit organization, and it's something that I hold very close to my heart, giving back to the kids and the youth in the community and letting them know that they're not a product of their environment,
Absolutely.
But you may mention that you were a mentor as well, but I want you to give some kind of word of advice or encouragement to somebody who's coming up in the music industry, who might want to do what you're doing. You have a lot of projects out. You've been successful doing this. What could you say to somebody who's like, man, I want to do that, but I don't know what to do. I want to do an album, but I don't know how. What would you say?
I would say this. And matter of fact, I'm going to be having doing an online Zoom session in a few weeks about artists or potential artists that are coming up. The first thing I would advise you is learn the business. Learn like you can be the baddest, the most dopest artist, but you'll stay broke if you don't know the business, because you got producers out here who know the business, and they'll give you a dope record and you'll leave without a penny. You need to understand the business. Then you need to work on building your fan base. I tell people, don't get so high and mighty that you can't even say thank you on social media when you only got 500 followers. People say something nice to you, or they DM you and say, "Yo, your music is dope." Be kind enough to respond and say, "Hey, thank you. Keep sharing." Get to know your fan base. Get to know the people that are talking about you. Because if 20 of your fans share your music to 100 of their followers, you potentially caught 2,000 followers, and so you have to be okay with saying, even though I'm an artist, I got to work this. You don't expect your social media fans to work it for you. No, you get on to work it. That's one of the reasons why I don't allow anybody to use my account or to have an assistant using my account, whatever. It's like, no, I'm gonna work this. I'm gonna stay personable with the people that are buying my music, that's supporting. And then, especially in gospel music, I would advise people to build your first fan base probably with your church, and if and then with your city, and then with your county, and then with your state, and then with the world. Now, yeah, you have some people who can just do one song on social media and they blow up immediately, but for most of us, we had to do the work. We had to build, and it took time. I mean, my first album I recorded 10 years ago. Now I'm traveling probably by choice, I'm traveling every other week, but I could be traveling every week. But it didn't start like this. There are a lot of times when I had to go for free. They would say, well, we'll give you a love offering, or we'll make sure that we buy 25 of your CDs. We have a slot for you, but we don't have, a budget for you. And you know what? I was hungry. So if you just started off and nobody don't know who you are, they're not going to pay you $1,500, $2,000 to come, because how they going to recoup that money?
Right.
So you have to start thinking business wise, which is why you have to build the fan base. Because if I say I'm coming to Miami, I base what I charge Miami on the fact that I know that I have a fan base that if I say, yo, I'm going to be in Miami, they're coming and they're going to support the event. So you're not giving me anything. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm going to work for what I get. And I think that's part of, I know a lot of artists, if there's a flyer with them on it, they won't share the flyer that the church has made because they're too big. But it's like, you got to help the people build, because nothing's worse than you showing up to do an event and nobody's there. That's a reflection on you too. Like, dude, you don't have no fans in this area, but you charging how much?
So I kind of want to play this little game, right? But this is going to be the battle of the siblings.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and you're going to tell me, who do you prefer? Okay. All right. That's it. So we got Erica Campbell or Tina Campbell?
Erica.
Okay. We have Karen Clark Sheard or Dorinda Clark Cole?
Dorinda.
Can you pump my fist for a little bit? Just pump. Give me a fist. But that's I love me some Dorinda. Lord have mercy. I love Miss Karen too. Don't get me wrong.
Now, even with the siblings, now I would take Tina's voice over Erica's, but I would take Erica's body over Tina's.
Listen, that's a work of art. It's a masterpiece, ain't it? My God, on today, Lord, forgive me, Mr. Warren and Jesus and everybody else. Lord, I'm sorry.
I'm just listen. we just having a transparent moment.
Just a moment, Lord, forgive us, Lord. Okay, let's go back to the Clarks, because I can't lie, I'm a huge fan. So we're gonna do Miss Twinkie or Karen.
Karen.
Okay. Now we're gonna switch over a little bit. Michael or Janet Jackson?
Michael. Yeah, Michael. Now, but see, but those are two different categories, though.
But that hurt my heart, though. I'm sorry.
No.
I guess you don't know that I'm just a huge Janet fan. I love Mike. Don't get me wrong.
No. When it comes to music, I'm with Mike. But that Janet, Lord have mercy. How old is Janet?
53, I think now.
Bro, she look like she's 25.
I know, but not just looks. I know. Mike is Mike.
Let's play
don't get me wrong.
Wild before you go too far. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But Michael.
Man, tell me what's next for you. What do you have coming up? What are some things that people need to be on the lookout for? Is there going to be a season 2 for the Amazing Twins? Tell me what's going on.
Yeah, we're actually in process of filming season 2 right now, and we are also Jarvis and I are also playing a major part in the movie called They Clone Tyrone with Jamie Foxx, and so we will be
Congrats, man.
yeah, man. So we're excited about that. Like, and I think that I think this is the only place that we've actually leaked
Oh,
that.
do
So
I got an exclusive? Do I got
I mean,
the conversation of Van got an exclusive?
listen, bruh. Yeah. So, and we're and I'm just working on my doctorate right now, which is like when I finish this, I'll be back in the books. Like, so man, it just so with that and recording a new album, I'll have a new album probably. Well, I'm recording 2 singles right now, but I will be doing a live recording in July.
Thank you again for coming on, having a conversation with me. I definitely appreciate you. I'm so serious.
Appreciate you, bro.
For taking the time to talk to me. Of course. Listen, remember, let nothing or nobody stop you from reaching your maximum potential. You are great. So go out there and be great. All right? Peace.
Thank you, bro.
Talk to me, yeah. Conversation we've been